meditate on Sri Ramakrishna and pray for the well-being of the whole humanity. Om Tat Sat. Om Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been discussing a topic taken from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, awakening. In the last 3 classes, we have been discussing various aspects of this subject. And the important point to know is that sometimes people get a sort of awakening due to emotions, but that awakening, what they experience, is not a stable one, and so they don't feel any advancement in the spiritual field. So it must be well authenticated. The sure test of authentic awakening is the permanent transformation of character. So character is very important. How one conducts himself, that's important factor. So one may be having spiritual fervor, but these outward symptoms of deep spiritual fervor without self-control and devotion do not indicate, authenticate authentic awakening. So it is said that out of 100 spiritual seekers, 80 may become charlatans, 15 may go insane, and only the remaining 5 may be blessed with a real vision of truth. Awakened consciousness, it brings steady wisdom, and a person of steady wisdom has been aptly described by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Tasyam Yanisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagati Samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato munehe. In that which is night to all beings, the man of self-control is awake, and where all beings are awake, there is night for the Muni, the spiritual seeker who sees. There are 5 tested methods of awakening spiritual consciousness according to Vedanta. One is fervent prayer, in which the seeker himself, like a helpless baby, is crying for its mother. The second method is japa, or repetition of a sacred name. Faith and love act as a most powerful lever to rouse the coiled up Kundalini Shakti. Repetition of a sacred name creates sound vibrations that induce the consciousness eventually to rise. The third method is discriminating reasoning, by which the seeker tries to persuade the consciousness to wake up from its slumber. The fourth method is meditation. I am speaking about various methods of awakening consciousness. Meditation is keeping the mind focused like a searchlight on the consciousness so that it will rise. The fifth method is pranayama, or control of breath, by which a person rouses the consciousness forcibly to the heart center. We have discussed in the last classes how the spiritual centers are all situated on the spinal cord and the backbone. By controlling the breath, the vibrations of thoughts, emotions, and activities of the mind are controlled, and an upward movement of consciousness is generated. However, attempts to awaken consciousness through control of breath without first building a strong moral and ethical foundation of purity may bring dangerous consequences, such as a breakdown of the nervous system, derangement of the brain, and even incurable disease. So generally, we don't advise to practice pranayama. It requires a strong health and a very strict discipline in order to pursue the method of pranayama. But there are other methods which are safe that we should follow. So the wisdom of the traditions of Vedanta cautions that recourse to pranayama is to be taken only when other risk-free methods have been tried and have failed. The safest way, according to this wisdom, is that of japa and meditation. A disciple once asked Sri Ramakrishna's eminent direct disciple Swami Brahmanandaji, "Sir, how can the Kundalini be aroused?" Swamiji replied, "According to some, there are special exercises, but I believe it can best be done through repetition of the divine name and meditation. Especially suited to our present age is the practice of japa or constant repetition of the divine name and meditation upon it. There is no spiritual practice easier than this. But meditation must accompany the repetition of the mantra. So, how it is very important to keep the divine name in the mind. The one way of keeping it active is mentally repeating the mantra. It has got great significance. By constantly repeating, one gets tremendous concentration, which leads to experiences. In my younger days, I had seen in one of the temples in India, it was Sri Rama's temple. It was very near our home, so I used to go there evening times just to attend the evening service. And morning also I would go, very near our home, just 5 minutes walk. Whenever I would go there, I would feel a kind of inner joy. The whole atmosphere in the temple was vibrating with the holy atmosphere. So I used to just stay there for a while and observe the people coming there, offering their worship. There was one person whom I saw very closely. That person was just repeating Rama's name, Rama, 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 with a symbol, Ram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. With symbol he used to repeat that name. How long? Hours, continuously was repeating, with his eyes half closed. And he would make a pradakshina of the temple. I still remember his face, tremendously great. The whole face was expressing the sattvic nature, extremely polite, humble, devoted, guileless. You could feel that just by seeing him. You don't have to talk. Just by seeing you can feel. A real spiritual person should be like that. His practice was just repeating Sri Rama's name. Trayodashakshara mantra. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. And he used to shed tears when he was repeating that name. Anyway, all those have created a very strong impression in my mind. So frequently I remember all these boyhood days. So Brahmanandaji says that whenever you do meditation, it must be followed by the repetition of the name of the deity on whom you are meditating upon. Well, there are various factors for the success in spiritual life. It depends upon sincerity and intensity of effort. intensity of effort. So, real effort can bring a real result. Swami Brahmanji said, too many rules and regulations for spiritual life are no good. The maintaining of those disciplines is rather difficult. Sincerity and earnestness, that is important. If these qualities are in your prayer, it will surely reach the Lord. How? God looks into the heart and not to the words of man. A great saint, Tulsidas, he said, an hour or even half of that, what is necessary, my child, is earnestness. The mother dwells in every heart, and she does not take into consideration how much time you put into your practice, but only how sincerely you do it. That's the point. She only takes into account how much love and devotion you have to her. If one repeats divine name with full sincerity, meditation will follow as a natural development. Another great disciple from Ramakrishna Math, he said, Sri Ramakrishna will surely help you if you only sincerely ask him for help. He is the incarnation of love and mercy. Devote some time every day to self-analysis. Ask yourself, why have I come here? How am I passing my time? Do I really want God? Am I really struggling to find Him? You have to put questions like this to yourself. A man's mind tries to deceive him, but he must not allow himself to be swayed by his mind. He must curb and rule it. The more intensely you analyze yourself, the more you will understand the condition of your own mind, and you will be able to eliminate the subtler cravings. When you are able to free yourself from these deep-seated subtle desires, when the mind becomes tranquil, then only can you become deeply absorbed in real meditation. The practice of japam and meditation brings the aspirant to this stage. You should analyze your mind and see whether you have been able to cover even a bit of work with the Spirit of God, and judge whether the duties you are performing are for His sake or for the propitiation of your spurious self. Another great disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Chidananda, he said, every day when you go to bed, you should think, what exactly have I done today? How much have I called on God? Have I inflicted any wound on anybody's heart? Did I return a harsh word for sweet ones from superiors? Raise these and such other questions in the mind and try to answer them. We have not come to this world either for fault finding or for correcting others. We have come simply to learn. We must always ask ourselves what we have learned. Learn to see your own faults and weaknesses. If you know that the ideal is to make the lips correspond to the heart, what are you doing to achieve that? Will you be healed of your sickness if I take the medicine for you? If you realize that it is ruinous to indulge in sensuality, have you tried to find means to overcome it? Find out your weaknesses, repent, and promise not to repeat, but struggle to achieve purity of heart. It is for us to live and learn. Can spiritual awakening be scheduled? The answer is no. No spiritual practice can hurry awakening. Such awakening comes by divine grace, and the descent of this grace cannot be programmed. Yet spiritual practices are necessary. They prepare our physical and mental system for the blessed moment. Spiritual awakening comes like a full burst of light, and our body, mind and nervous system must be made ready for the impact of that burst. Nobody knows when that blessed burst will come. And so we must wait and prepare ourselves. We feel drawn to the divinity only when the divine draws us. We rise to God consciousness when God lifts us up. We feel longing for Him when He longs for us. So, spiritual life goes on smoothly if we follow all these steps. The basic thing is one has to be very sincere and one must be earnest and just keep doing what should be done. Practice ethical and moral values. Establish yourself in a stable character. Never waste your time in picking out faults at others. Never try to criticize the world. Just look into yourself all the time. So, everything should be taken subjectively. I am here in this world. The whole world is for me. How much I can contribute myself for the betterment of this world. So, realizing God, realizing the truth means you will understand the glory of God's nature and you feel tremendous compassion towards the whole creation. So, that awakening of God consciousness, turning towards God, is very important. Every one of us get opportunity to turn towards God. But we should pay our attention. When the opportunities come, we must seize it. We must start spiritual life as early as possible. Days are going on. Time rolls away like anything. If you don't achieve, then the life that you have been given is going away without fulfillment. Again you have to struggle. Probably you have to struggle more in your next life. Life is a continuous journey. Death is only to the body, but the soul carries on its journey. The subtle body always goes with the soul. Mind always goes with the embodied being. So you have to keep your mind properly, and mind is the important instrument by which you should be able to reach God. So you have to train the mind, you have to discipline the mind. You must not spoil the mind. You must not dump the mind with all sorts of things. Keep the mind as much as possible pure. Then you will be able to have the experience of the truth. So that concludes this topic, awakening. Next Tuesday I shall take up another topic. Page 714. Master said to Mahima, "Why do you call the world a deep well or a trackless forest? An aspirant may think so in the beginning, but how can he be frightened by the world if he holds fast to God? Then he finds that this very world is a mansion of mirth. Here I can eat, here drink and make merry. Why should you be frightened? Hold fast to God. What if the world is like a forest of thorns? Put on shoes and walk on the thorns. Whom should you fear? You won't have to play again the part of the thief in the game of hide and seek once you touch the granny." King Janak used to fence with two swords, the one of knowledge and the other of action. Nothing can frighten an expert player. To Master Maharshi, Sri Ramakrishna said, "My mind is still drawn to what he just recited." Sri Ramakrishna referred to the hymns chanted by Mahima. Nabai Chaitanya and the other devotees began to sing. They were joined by the Master, who danced drunk with divine love. Afterwards he said, "This is the one thing needful, the chanting of God's name. All else is unreal. Love and devotion alone are real, and other things are of no consequence." Later, Sri Ramakrishna went out in the direction of the Panchavati. He asked M about Binode, a student in M's school who now and then experienced ecstasy while thinking of God. The Master loved him dearly. As he was returning to his room with M, he asked, "Well, some speak of me as an incarnation of God. What do you think about it?" The Master came back to his room and sat on the small couch. He repeated the question to M. The other devotees were seated at a distance and could not follow the conversation. Master asked, "What do you say?" M answered, "I think so too. You are like Sri Chaitanya." Master said, "Is it a full manifestation of God or a part? Tell me how much." M answered, I don't know, sir. But it is true that there is in you an incarnation of the divine power. There is no doubt that God alone dwells in you." Master said, "That's true. Chaitanya also wanted to realize Shakti, the divine power." Narendra was engaged in a heated discussion. Ram, who had recently recovered from an illness, joined him. Master said to M, I don't like such discussions. To Ram, he said, will you stop that? You haven't been well. All right, go on softly. Don't get so excited. To M, he said, I don't like these discussions. I used to weep and pray to the Divine Mother, saying, Oh Mother, one man says it is this, while another says it is that. Do thou tell me, O Mother, what is the truth? At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Sri Ramakrishna was in his room at Dakshineshwar, conversing happily with his devotees. Babu Ram, the younger Narain, Paltu, Haripada, Mahimaj Mohan, Mohini Mohan, and others were present. A young Brahmin who had been staying with the master a few days was also there. The Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna's wife, was living in the Nahabat. Occasionally, she would come to Sri Ramakrishna's room to attend to his needs. Mohini Mohan had brought his wife and Nabin's mother with him to the temple garden from Calcutta. The ladies were with the Holy Mother. They were waiting for an opportunity to visit the master when the men devotees would leave the room. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small couch. As he looked at the young devotees, his face beamed with joy. Rakhal was not then living at Dakshineshwar with the master. Since his return from Vrindavan, he had been living at home. Master said smilingly, Rakhal is now enjoying his pension. Since his return from Vrindavan, he has been staying at home. His wife is there, but he said to me that he would not accept any work even if he were offered a salary of 1,000 rupees. Rakhal would lie down here and say to me that he didn't care even for my company. He was then passing through such an exalted state. Bhavanath is married, but he spends the whole night in spiritual conversation with his wife. The couple pass their time talking of God, God alone. I said to him, I have a little fun with your wife now and then. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, have a little fun with your wife now and then. What? He retorted angrily. Shall we too indulge in frivolity? Sri Ramakrishna began to talk about Narendra. We should stop here. Any questions? Or welcome. Do you have? Spiritual ideas must be thought of constantly. Spiritual ideas are to be given to the mind. Otherwise, mind will be filled up with so many ideas which are not helpful for your well-being. So, that's why we always say, keep reading some spiritual texts, Upanishads and bhajans and gospel, sacred books. Select the books and keep on reading them so that mind is filled with those spiritual ideas. That will help greatly. No question, only to be practiced, that's all. No. All right, let's stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.